Local agencies that help domestic violence and sexual assault survivors, along with other crime victims, are now forced to make cuts.
Yeah, organizations across Ohio have lost millions of dollars after federal funding was cut. Bob Jones reports some Summit County groups are worried about deeper cuts and how that could impact services for crime victims.
Our job is to help them get through their first 24 and 48 hours.
When needed, a crisis response advocate from the Victim Assistance Program responds to crime scenes, helping more than 6,000 victims a year in Summit County.
Domestic violence, homicide, sexual assault, identity theft.
About $1 million in Victim of Crime Act funding, or VOCA, helps pay for victim assistance programs. But the agency recently lost about 7%, or $77,000 of that money. Some training programs were trimmed, and a new support group for teachers assaulted by students was eliminated.
Next year, it's expected to be much worse.
Leanne Graham, the president of the Victim Assistance Program, says the agency is bracing for the possibility of a 15% cut next year.
This is a huge concern for us. 15% funding cut could be devastating to numerous agencies.
Graham says they would be forced to look at possible staffing cuts, and advocates, normally at the scene of a crime in a half hour, could take longer to arrive.
A response time could be up to an hour, 2 hours.
The Victim of Crime funds are collected through fines involving federal white-collar crimes, and officials say funding is down because federal prosecutions have decreased. In Ohio, that means about $30 million less to be distributed to victim organizations.
We're meeting a community need.
The battered women's shelter of Summit and Medina counties has also had its funding cut. Nathan Chambers says it lost $150,000 in VOCA money, a concern for the agency, which provides shelter, transitional housing, and therapy.
Last year in 2018, we served a little over 800 people with almost 37,000 nights of emergency shelter.
Chambers says further cuts could impact employees and services.
Any sort of funding cut to any one of those programs or any of the services we provide could make their journey a little bit harder at the end of the day.
Both agencies are looking for ways to replace the money lost while continuing to help the people they serve.
I am confident that we are still going to provide crisis response services. We are dedicated, we are committed to that.
In Akron, Bob Jones, News 5.